Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is a review of Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books. And the one of my way too many books that I'm going to be reviewing today is this one, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. I received this from my monthly subscription, which is the Crime Syndicate book club from the fantastic Mr. B's Emporium in Bath. And I received one crime fiction book per month for that, and this was the book for May. So I was very drawn in by this orange cover and wanted to read it immediately. So I pretty much did. This book was first published in 2022 and it was recently published this year in paperback in the UK. And this is the third novel of Benjamin Stevenson, who is a stand-up comedian and an author. I believe his first two novels are crime thriller sort of books as well. And this was a very entertaining read, which I would describe as almost like a homage to the golden age of crime. So of course there is lots here in this book for lovers of the golden age of crime, particularly I would say Agatha Christie. The protagonist in Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone is Ernest Cunningham, and he is the author of books on how to write crime fiction. So of course he is very familiar with the rules, and he actually starts with the rules, Ronald Knox's 10 Commandments of Detective Fiction, which were written in 1929. And these are all rules like the criminal must be someone mentioned in the early part of the story, but must not be anyone whose thoughts the reader has been allowed to follow. So he provides these 10 rules at the beginning, and there's quite a lot of reference back to these and quite a lot of like nods to these rules. If he comes close to breaking these rules, he lets you know. So it's quite an interesting first person perspective. It's written as though it is Ernest's book based on his experiences. It's very reminiscent of a classic mystery. So the setup for this book is a family reunion of the Cunningham family, and they are all gathering at a ski resort. So yeah, in terms of being reminiscent of a classic mystery, we have the isolated setting, we have closed circle, and we have a family with secrets. So yeah, lots of elements being drawn on there. And there's no spoilers in this review, but I would personally say, as someone who has read pretty much all of Agatha Christie's work, apart from her Mary Westmacott novels and some of the plays, I would say the reveal of the killer owes a lot to Agatha Christie. I won't say which book because that would spoil it. What did I enjoy about Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone? Well, there were quite a few things. This was a very enjoyable, fast-paced book, and I very much liked all of the references to classic crime, the golden age of crime, which was in the 1930s, and it's very tongue-in-cheek. It draws attention to the rules and the cliches of crime fiction, and it was an enjoyable first-person narrative. I did feel as though this was giving out enough information to solve it. At times I felt a little bit pressured, like I was supposed to be solving it myself, and actually I quite like to not try to solve things, but you did feel like you were supposed to solve it. Yeah, I did use the clues and my own Agatha Christie reading experience to know what part of the reveal was going to be. Not the whole thing, but an element of it I could get from the clues. I really liked the concept of this book. I thought the characters were interesting, and I liked the drip feeding of information by Ernest about his family and their pasts. The setting of this was very good, a really interesting setting, utilising some of the murder mystery sort of cliches of an isolated setting, a snow-covered setting, a storm, and so on. But in doing so, Ernest pokes fun at how cliched his own story is in terms of referring back to past mysteries. I loved all the nods to classic mysteries. That was right up my street. It's a very clever book, and Ernest was a pretty clever narrator, so I enjoyed all of that. There was very little not to like about this book. I personally felt that it was trying to be really funny, and that maybe I didn't particularly find it that funny. But it was more of a sort of wink wink, look at this type of humour, the kind of funny that would make you, that would raise a wry smile rather than make you laugh out loud. There are comic elements to this, but personally I wasn't certain that any of the more obvious jokes were that funny to me. That wasn't a big issue. I really enjoyed being made to smile by some of the sort of cliches and things that this dealt with. It was a little bit convoluted in terms of the complexities of the backstory that was revealed at the end, but yeah, I still appreciated it for what it was. I thought this was a great read, and I think if you are a fan of classic mysteries, you will really enjoy this. And it says on the front, Knives Out meets Richard Osman. I think if you like either of those things, you would enjoy this. So in Knives Out, it's more of the sort of dodgy family, everyone's a suspect type element. In terms of Richard Osman, I think it's more like the humorous side of things, and the like protagonists who enjoy crime and mysteries and are therefore savvy to that. I can see both of those comparisons. So a great read if you love Agatha Christie, if you love classic crime and books that are kind of a tribute to that, but simultaneously tongue-in-cheek about that, then this is a good book for you. I do normally, in some of my reviews, mention other books that I think you would enjoy if you like this, and one that came to mind for me was another one that I read relatively recently that pays tribute to Agatha Christie, and that is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This is like a homage to And Then There Were None, of which there are quite a few books lately paying homage to that book. This one does it in a different sort of way with a family, and I think the family elements and the sort of Agatha Christie influenced elements, the sort of feeling of, if you've read these things, here are some Easter eggs for you. I had the same sort of feeling at times in this book. Although I enjoyed this a lot more than Daisy Darker, Daisy Darker is another recommendation for you if you've already read this one. I have seen online that there is a sequel to this that has been released. I believe it's called Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. So that does sound like a book that I am going to be seeking out at a later time. That's all for my review of Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, please do give it a like. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Do let me know in the comments down below, have you read this one? Do you think you would read this one? If you have read any other crime fiction that you think I would enjoy as much as I enjoyed this one, do recommend it to me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And I'd love to hear what other books you have read that are related to the golden age of crime fiction, but are not actually from the golden age of crime fiction. Really enjoyed this book. I hope you will too if you decide to pick it up. And I do hope you will join me again very soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.